So we know that our police are being increasingly militarized. We know that we have police being trained, that America is a war zone. I actually wrote about this back in June because an Indiana sheriff who runs a county of less than 14,000 people got an MRAP, and he said the MRAP tank was justified, that they need it. You know, the MRAP tank, the mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle straight off the battlefields in Afghanistan that's being handed out like candy to police departments all across this country in the Pentagon Surplus program, because America is a war zone. So we have to have that, drive that down the streets of America. San Diego Unified School District is actually getting an MRAP tank. There's a picture of what they're going to paint it like a rescue vehicle, even though they're not the fire department, they're not EMS, they're the police. And they're going to fill it up with teddy bears and use it as a rescue vehicle. And why? Because Sandy Hook. That's the reason. Because everything's, it's like because 9/11, because Sandy Hook. So now we have school districts with MRAPs, okay? Public school districts.
Video even emerged of a sheriff's deputy stating that the reason sheriffs and police departments have MRAP and other military equipment is because of constitutionalists who have a lot of guns, stockpile weapons, and ammunition.
Fail-safe measure that can prevent all loss of life and limb on this or any other battlefield, especially against a ruthless and resourceful enemy. That is the brutal reality of war. But vehicles like the MATV and the MRAP provide the best protection available against roadside bombs and other improvised explosive devices. And so the need for these kinds of vehicles will not soon go away.
That was former Defense Secretary Robert Gates, by the way, who just so happens to sit on the board of directors for Starbucks. Anyway, after Ferguson, after Eric Garner, after Tamir Rice, we now have, just earlier tonight, the New York Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, which is the NYPD union, issuing this statement following the deaths of 2 police officers in an apparent ambush. Quote, starting immediately, at least 2 units are to respond to every call, no matter the... Actually, maybe I should read it with the starting immediately, at least 2 units are to respond to every call, no matter the condition or severity, no matter what type of job is pending, or what the opinion of the patrol supervisor happens to be. In addition, absolutely no enforcement action in the form of arrests and or summonses is to be taken unless absolutely necessary, and an individual must be placed under arrest. These are precautions that were taken in the 1970s when police officers were ambushed and executed on a daily basis. The mayor's hands are literally dripping with our blood because of his words and actions and policies, and we have, for the first time in a number of years, become a quote-unquote wartime police department. We will act accordingly. The NYPD is now a wartime police department, and they will act accordingly. I also thought it was very interesting, the second little sentence there. Absolutely no enforcement action in the form of arrests and or summonses is to be taken unless absolutely necessary, and an individual must be placed under arrest. I was kind of hoping that enforcement actions were only taken when they were absolutely necessary, and that arrests were only made when an individual must be placed under arrest. I mean, what does that mean? I don't even get that. Unless an individual must be placed under arrest, I mean, I would hope in this country they're only arresting people that must be. Of course, we already know.
They're not.
We already know they're not, obviously. But the fact that they basically just admitted that in print is pretty sad.
So as if there wasn't enough tension and anger against police and chaos between all the different factions, now a gunman has killed 2 New York police officers while they were sitting in their cars during an anti-terrorism drill, no less. Isn't that interesting? They're saying it was Ishmael Brinsley, and he posted an eerie Instagram social media message saying, I'm putting wings on pigs tonight. They take 1 of ours. Let's take 2 of theirs. This may be my final post, and put out the hashtag shoot the police. And they say he also killed his girlfriend, and police have responded en masse. It's a huge story, and they're angry at the mayor. They say blood on many hands. The police union president slams de Blasio after the police killings, and they're all there, and de Blasio says to the police, quote, we're all in this together, and an officer turns to him and says, no, we're not. And they are blaming the mayor's office, and the police union president said, quote, "Those that incited violence on the street under the guise of protest, those that try to tear down what New York City police officers did every day, they have blood on their hands." And, quote, "We tried to warn it must not go on and cannot be tolerated. That blood on the hands starts on the steps of City Hall in the office of the mayor." And a bunch of police officers turned their backs on the mayor, and things are just more divisive than ever. Well, what about the fact that the blood started on police officers' hands with the Eric Garner case that was totally unnecessary, totally excessive force, and now it has led to all of this? Not long ago, the New York Police Department put out a warning that a member of the militant black gang, Black Guerrilla Family, was preparing to shoot on-duty officers. That's a black prison gang. And now they are saying that the cop killer tonight is associated with that gang, the Black Guerrilla Family.
Now they're a wartime police department. Sounds like a quote straight out of The Godfather, doesn't it? This, you know what this reminds me of? At first, the first thing I thought of when I saw this, they said it become a wartime police department. I was like, well, they are, aren't they? They got all those MRAPs, they got the LRAD weapons, they've got the 50 cals they can mount on helicopters, all that kind of stuff. But I also thought they had surface-to-air missiles based on something Commissioner Ray Kelly said. But actually, after he made this statement that they could take down an aircraft, the NYPD told the NY Post that the anti-aircraft resource was a 50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle that they would mount to the helicopter for special occasions. So it's not actually a surface-to-air missile, which is what he basically made it sound like.
But I guess wartime in New York is kind of a special occasion.
I think a lot of people already feel like we live in police state USSA. And so if if the NYPD is declaring this a wartime, when the rest of us already feel like it's a police state, I don't even know what to say.
I guess it only matters when a cop dies.
Searching for answers after police shot and killed their 18-year-old schizophrenic son.
Officers here are heavily armed and in many cases trained to be bullies.
Contacted 10 News outraged after their developmentally disabled son was beaten and pepper sprayed by a sheriff's deputy.
12-year-old boy shot by police after the boy pulled a BB gun out of his waistband.
They're often given paid administrative leave during cases in which they have used violence
against helpless, unarmed people.